Hi, my name is Des, and this is Together. So, how many of you struggle with or know at least one person in your life that struggles with their mental health? So, we all know that the mental health crisis isn't new. So, this is the mental health crisis just in North Carolina. So, according to the North Carolina Institute of Medicine, 70% of children with a mental health diagnosis are not receiving treatment. 94 to 100 North Carolina counties have a mental health professional shortage, and 30 North Carolina counties lack any licensed psychologists. So that is an insane number. And more specifically, I even gathered Transylvania County's information. This states child and adolescent psychiatrists. And so this dotted line is North Carolina average, and Transylvania counties is right here, and it has been at 0 since 2015. There are no child and adolescent psychiatrists in Transylvania County. And another one is youth suicide rates. So again, the dotted line is North Carolina's average, and this is Transylvania County's average. So, some pretty shocking numbers for you. I got both of those tables off of ncchild.org. And ncchild.org is a huge child advocate nonprofit organization. And they team up with other organizations to create policies to support child and adolescent growth and development. And they stated that in NC alone, in North Carolina alone, suicide was the third leading cause of death for youth ages 10 to 17. So we're sent to school and we're told as children that we will be taught everything that we need to be able to succeed. But our education system skips the most vital lesson, and that is how to understand and manage our own minds and how to help those around us. Because let's face it, not everyone has somebody. Like, we have to be there for somebody. This is why mandatory mental health classes should be implemented into school systems, or the school curriculum, rather. I'll explain how having this knowledge is the most powerful tool to possess in order to care for ourselves and our peers. And I'll also prove that the education from a class like this is fundamental in future academic success and lifelong skill building. So, the foundation of knowledge and mental health literacy is a powerful tool in students learning how to care for themselves, identify peers declining, and seeking the necessary help in order for everyone to thrive in their environment. So a lot of us display what is called passive sympathy, which simply means to feel sorry for someone or wanting to help, but actively doing nothing. So mandatory mental health classes would give us the knowledge and resources needed to actively seek out or provide the necessary support. You've likely heard a friend say, well, I'm just stressed, or I'm fine, when they clearly weren't. So, without being taught proper understanding and comprehension, our usual responses are often not enough. We simply don't know the difference between a rough week and a red flag warning sign. So this new curriculum would change that by teaching individuals how to recognize and understand the signs and symptoms of mental health conditions, how to connect our friends and peers with necessary resources on campus or in the community, and the language to recognize our own minds. So, for example, by teaching us that chronic fatigue and a lack of interest in things you usually love are potential symptoms of depression, allowing a quick intervention before a rough patch becomes a crisis. So, and you're probably sitting there like, oh, great. Now everyone's going to think they have a mental illness or self-diagnose, whatever. And they may. But remember, this class is not meant to diagnose anyone or even make anyone feel like they're mentally ill. This class is simply meant to educate. And I say if anyone feels like they are having symptoms of mental illness, with the tools and resources this class provides, they should seek out those resources anyway, just to be safe. And then if a mental health professional confirms that they're fine, then at least they know. Because some individuals don't even know that they are struggling with their mental health. Some think it's normal. So when we mandate a mental health class like this, we are translating compassion amongst each other. We are transforming entire student bodies into a support network equipped with the knowledge needed to reduce suffering and potentially save lives. So I could go on and on with this claim, but I will leave it at that. So I'd like to highlight the fact that implementing mandatory mental health classes is also an active strategy for success. These classes would equip students with essential life skills and coping mechanisms. Those directly correlate with improved academic performance, workplace skills, and overall well-being. So the U.S. Department of Education stated that students who receive mental health support have improved academic outcomes, and when mental health problems are untreated, they result in costly negative outcomes such as academic and discipline challenges, often resulting in absences, and students leaving schools altogether. And so, early intervention using evidence-based counseling supports can increase students' emotional and mental wellness and improve students' social, behavioral, and academic functioning at school. We're under immense pressure as we get older, yet we're rarely taught the tools needed to overcome the thoughts and feelings that those pressures create. And so this class would close that gap by teaching us some fundamental techniques such as emotional regulation, stress and time management, and healthy boundaries. By giving students the tools to navigate their internal world as well as the world around them, we are equipping them to stay engaged, manage academic stress, build healthier relationships and friendships, and persevere through challenges, all of which will ultimately be used as an important skill in the workplace. We are not only helping to create healthier people, but successful students and future employees, as well as reduce the stigma surrounding mental health. And so, in conclusion, this class is essential to providing factual educational curriculum that also respects student privacy. It is the most effective way for us to learn about ourselves and our peers, and it provides the necessary life skills needed for academic success and is vital in preparing for a career in the future. We are a generation facing a crisis. That just is what it is. And in North Carolina alone, a child, not an adult, but a child, commits suicide every week. And I read this in an article on ABC 11 News. AI, such as ChatGPT and social media, have contributed to this number by initiating loneliness in individuals with mental illnesses who feel like they have no one to talk to and no trustworthy people in their lives. I saw a news story about a teen who was venting to ChatGPT, and you guys may have seen it too, but he was venting to ChatGPT about struggling mentally, and in the end, the AI program ultimately ended up giving him step-by-step instructions on how to commit suicide. And he followed those instructions and was unfortunately successful in his suicide attempt. And so some of you may think that was stupid or selfish, but honestly, what's stupid and selfish is the fact that there are individuals who feel like they are so alone in this world and have no one to turn to, so they turn to something artificial. We must do better. We have to care more about those around us. The solution to the mental health crisis is not a temporary fix, but a total change in how we're educated. We have to move beyond just noticing the crisis. We must make a change and actively do something about it. And so I encourage you to genuinely check on your friends and family and be sincere and serious about being there for them. I also challenge you to make a new friend because ultimately the only way we can fight this mental health crisis is together. These classes are vital, and I hope you agree. Thank you.